It's time now for the Kill the Can podcast.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kill the Can podcast. I hate to say it, but it seems like every time I jump on here, I always say, hey, it's been a little while. And this time it actually has been quite some time. Today is August 21st, and the last time I recorded an episode of the podcast was July 27th. So I'm almost a month from episode to episode, which is far longer than I would like. I will say I've had quite a few things going on in my personal life. As I said on the last episode of the podcast, July 24th was my 18-year anniversary of my quit. I would like to thank everybody who reached out to offer congratulations. But again, that milestone at this point is really less about me than it is about the community. Also, I think I mentioned on the last episode of the pod, July 24th is also the anniversary of my father's passing away. He passed away on last July 24th, a year ago, from lung cancer. So it's a good reminder of kind of why I continue this fight and those kind of things. Since the last episode of the pod, I attended WWE SummerSlam. It was here in Cleveland. I had an awesome time during that event. I'm happy to say that my hometown of Cleveland was well represented that night. I don't know if there are any other professional wrestling fans out there, but it was a great event. If you are a wrestling fan, I'm happy to chat with you about it. Feel free to leave me a comment, leave me a question, shoot me a DM on the Discord server. I'd love to chat pro wrestling. I've been a pro wrestling fan for probably 40 years. The only reason I bring it up here is I went to SummerSlam on that Saturday. I went to SmackDown the night before on that Friday. I was around thousands and thousands of people. And not once during that entire weekend did I ever even consider having a dip. And I thought, and that struck me only because in previous times of my life where I was going to ball games or going to places that were crowded, I always had to worry about, my spitter. I had to worry about where I was going to spit. I had to worry about, did I forget my dip when I left the house? Those kind of things. And it struck me pretty recently here that I went to those events and I didn't even consider dip, not once. And that was a pretty freeing experience for sure. So anyways, it didn't even cross my mind. And that was just a very freeing experience. And I'm really glad that I no longer have to worry about that. After that SummerSlam weekend was over, my family and I went on a family vacation. We went down to Ocean City, Maryland for the week. And it was kind of the last week of the summer prior to my boys going back to school. And again, during that week, I didn't have to worry about dip. I didn't have to worry about how many cans I was taking with me when I was packing. I didn't have to worry about finding a convenience store when I was down in a city that I wasn't familiar with. And I can't even begin to tell you what a freedom it is to not have to worry about those things. And so, as we get back to school, as we head towards fall, I know I have talked on previous episodes of the podcast about seasonal triggers. I just wanted to warn everybody to beware of those things. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of situations, sights, sounds, smells that can trigger you, can trigger a craving, can make you really start to waver in your quit. I would urge you to not do that. If you're starting to deal with those cravings, get back to basics. Do what has gotten you quit. Drink lots of water, go for a walk, go for a run, get engaged on the forums, get engaged with the Kill the Can community, however it is you interact with us, and really start to focus once again on your quit. And before you know it, those craves will be behind you. I'm going to do again here what I've been doing the last couple episodes of the podcast, where I get on and I respond to some social media comments. And so we're going to go ahead and we'll do that. I'm not sure how many of these comments I'm going to get to, but this seems to have been working, and I've gotten some pretty positive feedback about it. First comment here comes from Sean Ward 7156, and he says, I haven't dipped in 2 weeks and working out twice a day helped me significantly. I don't even want to dip anymore. And he's actually responding to a video that I posted where I was answering the question, I just quit dipping. Does the pain ever go away? I can't even work out anymore. And so I think he's actually responding to the fact that working out actually helps him. And I would tend to agree with him, with Sean. Working out or becoming active really did help me in my quit. But I do know that there are other people out there like this original commenter that have a really hard time with motivation after they quit. What I would say to the original commenter is to push through those feelings of boredom, push through that pain that comes from withdrawal, because it is relatively temporary. And again, to Sean's point, working out twice a day is helping him significantly. I would tend to agree with that. It really did help me. So again, if you can work out, if you can get some physical activity, I would suggest that you do so. But if you can't and you're just really feeling down about it, I would suggest just continue to push forward, drink lots of water, and just rest assured that that is going to be a relatively temporary situation. You got this. Next comment is from Dragon VR 298, and he says, my dad is trying to quit chew, and he has the wintergreen flavor. He's referring to Grinds coffee pouches. And he said he does not crave chew anymore. And that's exactly what these products are meant to do. Now, what I will say is, if you're using a tobacco-free, nicotine-free product, such as Grinds, that product is not necessarily going to cut down on your cravings for nicotine because it doesn't contain nicotine. What it will do, it will help you deal with the oral fixation associated with your addiction, which in turn might make you not want to crave it anymore. So regardless, I'm really happy to hear that your dad sounds like is having some success with, in this case, Grinds coffee pouches. Grinds are an awesome product. I love them. I will say, if you're not a fan of coffee, you're not necessarily going to like Grinds, but there are some, and if you don't, that's fine. There's a ton of other alternative products out there. Appreciate the comment, Dragon. Thank you very much. This next comment comes from Jameson Urq Hartley Shirley 23. And I'm not sure if he is being sincere, a troll, or what, but I thought it was interesting. And he's responding to a comment on a video entitled, I'm ready to quit ZYN, how do I do it? And the comment that he makes is, once you ZYN, you're trapped within, they're lovely. And and I guess now that I read the comment, he's misspelled there, should be THEY apostrophe RE, and he uses it incorrectly. So I think what he's saying, once you're using a ZYN, you know, he's a big fan, but you're trapped. And what I find really interesting, and I'm starting to see a pattern among ZYN users and I guess nicotine pouch users, is a lot of them will defend their addiction the same way that I used to defend my addiction. But they always, I think what's different that I've seen from a ZYN user versus a smokeless user is a smokeless user used to, again, I will speak for myself. I used to defend my addiction, but I would very rarely talk about the downsides of my addiction. I would very rarely verbalize how bad it was to be addicted. And what I've seen from these ZYN users is they will defend it, but they use words like trapped. You're trapped with it. You are sucked in. They'll talk about how difficult it is to quit. It's the worst thing in the world. Like they have a very negative outlook on their addiction. Whereas when I was a user, I don't recall having such a negative, at least until I quit, or at least until I had made the decision to quit. I don't recall having such a negative outlook on my addiction. I've been seeing that pattern a lot lately with ZYN users, and I don't know if it's because I'm just looking for it or it's actually the case, but at least in the comments that I'm reading, even from the people that are defending their ZYN usage, they're using vocabulary that tells me they're really unhappy with their addiction. And maybe that's just the first step towards a life of freedom and them wanting to get out. I don't know. It's something that I've noticed. So I don't know. Let me know. Have you noticed that as well with ZYN users in your life? Next comment comes from Imagine_XD, and he's responding to a video where I answered the question, I hate ZYN because the pouches are so small. And I said in the video, I said, hey, I'm not sure I'd recommend with ZYN pouches because it'll give you double nicotine, but you can always double up on the pouches, right? And so, and he said, I agree with you. I don't like the ZYNs because the pouch is too small. Black Buffalo Rituals are my jam right now. I'm on a quest to quit Grizzly wintergreen pouches for good. And first of all, congratulations on your quest to quit for good. I would agree with you that Black Buffalo pouches are outstanding. Black Buffalo has, and again, I'll preface this by saying everything that I ever talk about, all the pouches that I ever sample, all the products I ever sample are nicotine-free and tobacco-free. Black Buffalo has some of the best products out on the market. Period, paragraph, end of story. They are outstanding. I'm a huge fan of their Blood Orange. I'm a huge fan of their Long Cut product. Black Buffalo products have some of the closest to the real thing products available on the market. They are outstanding. They're an awesome alternative if you're looking to quit Grizzly wintergreen pouches for good. Congratulations on your decision. Let me know how I can help. Next comment comes from Cody B. Drums, and he's responding to a video entitled ZYN is Great, the Best Product Out There. And in that initial video, I say that the problem with that statement, ZYN is great, it's the best product out there, is that people say it and they will talk about, and when they say that, people hearing that think that these products are safe. And so Cody B. Drum says ZYN and Rogue is not safe. 1 year of use, permanent gum recession, and tooth sensitivity to show for it. I never dipped a real can of chew in my life. The whole mentality around these products being harmless is terrible. I know I need to quit it, but it will be very tough since I have a very stressful job and I leaned on these products heavily while at work. If you see any more comments on your channel defending ZYNs and Rogues, you can use my comment as a living example. They messed up my gums. I know for a fact that I'm not the only one that this is happening to either. Love your channel. Never stop what you do. Thank you, Cody. I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate this comment, not only because it agrees with me, because if you've heard my stuff, you know that I'm not necessarily looking for agreement, but you are an example and you are kind of a living proof of kind of what I've been saying. These products are not safe. And I'm sorry that you're dealing with permanent gum recession, and I'm sorry that you're dealing with tooth sensitivity. What I can tell you is your addiction, even though the products that we use are different. I was a dipper and you're a ZYN and Rogue user. The addiction is the same. And so you absolutely can quit. I would love to help you. Please send me a DM, reach out to me, respond to this comment, because I want you to attain that freedom that it sounds like you really, really want. I would love for you to join our Discord server. Hell, I'd love to have you on the podcast and talk to you. It sounds like you really want to get and stay quit. I'd love to help you. But even if you never respond to any of these comments, just know you can do this. You can quit. I got your back, man. Let me know how I can help. Next comment here is from Cognito Man. He says, dude, what I'm doing is just tapering. I take away a dip every week or so. Right now, I'm only dip 4 times a day for about 45 minutes with the dip in. Here in 3 days, I cut down to only 3 dips a day. Now, this is a very valid way of quitting dip. It is not necessarily the one that I would suggest, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but it is absolutely a valid method, and it's a method that you, if used properly, can get you quit and can, believe it or not, actually cut down on the withdrawal symptoms that you might experience. What I will tell you, and the reason that it's not my preferred method of quitting, is I have seen so many people over the years work this method and try this method, and it works for them great until they get to the very end. And then when they get to the time where they need to go 100% dip-free, nicotine-free, they can't or they won't do it. And what tends to happen is they then turn around and they go back to being a full-blown dipper. Now, so I always tell people to go with the cold turkey method because, again, it's the quickest method to get it out of your system. It's the quickest method to be free. That being said, the method that you're doing is certainly better than nothing, and I hope that you are successful in it. I would just warn you that you're still going to have a hard time once you get down to that very last day where you have to go from 1 to 0. That said, it sounds like you're doing great, and I'm wishing you the best of luck when you get there. What I would suggest is once you get there and you are nicotine free, join us on our Discord server. We would love to have you, and you're actually going to still have quite a bit of work to do once you get to being nicotine free. And that's where the concepts of roll call and accountability and brotherhood will really help you to get and stay quit long term. Best of luck. Appreciate the comment. I'm going to end the podcast with this response or this comment. And this comes from Rob Ford Mayer. And I apologize to Rob that it's taken me so long to get back to this comment. But he says, so he's actually responding to the YouTube version of episode 48 of the podcast, which was the last episode. And he says, I've gone 14 days clean today from nicotine pouches. However, I think not using will affect my studies negatively. Really struggling to concentrate. Any advice? So first of all, Rob, congratulations on, at that time, 14 days clean. I'm getting to this comment 2 weeks late. So now you've been quit. If you're still quit, you've been quit for 4 weeks. So massive congratulations. What I will tell you is that 2-week mark that you were at when you left this, the 2-week, there's a article on the site called The 2-Week Weakness, written by the wonderful Fran Pro, rest in peace, my friend. And for some reason, 2 weeks is a really difficult spot in a lot of people's quits. You've kind of gotten over that first, 3-day hump, and now you're into 14 days. And what I can tell you is, hopefully by 4 weeks now, you've started to normalize, you've started to regain your concentration or your ability to concentrate. My advice for you, though, if you are struggling, drink a lot of water, do some exercise. do some things to get your mind off those nicotine pouches. If you're looking for a substitute, there's a ton of really great nicotine-free alternative pouches out there, which might be really helpful for you. And if you haven't yet, I would urge you to join our Discord server at KillTheCan.org/Discord. It's the best place on the web to get questions answered, accountability, and brotherhood from people who know what it is that you're going through. Like I said, I apologize for taking so long to get back to you. I hope you're still quit. And if there's anything that I can do to help, please let me know. I'm honored to be quit with you. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Join us again next time for another edition of the Kill the Can podcast.